Hello everyone, and welcome to my classic Season of Discovery raw gold making guide. In this guide, I'll focus on ways to make gold without using the auction house, so items we can farm and immediately also sell. So the first thing I would highly recommend you to do is to go to Options, then Graphics, and reduce your environment details. Why is this good for gold making? Well, you will see in a moment. When you reduce your graphics like this, then objects from far distance will also start to disappear, but not an in-game object you can interact with, like the chest. Therefore, it's now also visible, even though it is supposed to be hidden. So as you're leveling up, or when you're farming at max level, you could potentially also end up making a ton of additional gold, simply by changing your graphics instead of having the max settings. Whenever it's a fresh launch, or if it's just going to be the first character I create on a new realm, then I always prefer to go with skinning. This allows me to build up so much raw gold as I'm leveling up, because whenever someone else kills an enemy, and if they're not a skinner themselves, then I will be able to skin it, get leather, and then sell this to the vendor. This clip is only with a couple of nearby players. When there's for example 10, 20 or maybe more players competing for enemies on a fresh server, then there will also be dead corpses all over the place, super quick spawning enemies, and therefore also a ton of gold to be made. I've tried this before, and on a fresh server, by the time I got to level 10, I had more than 5 gold. This is so much at this level. You can purchase all the spells you need, you can go to the auction house, purchase packs and upgrades, so you don't really have to worry about gold when you're leveling. I know it will take a bit longer to level up when you do something like this, but then again, at max level, you can then skin everything you kill, so you will be making a lot of additional gold when you're just farming for other things. So now some of you might be wondering, so where do you farm as Horde and Alliance at low level? Well, let me share you the locations. The first spot is in Don Moreau, and the reason why I prefer this is simply because it's a questing area, so there will always be people killing things that you can skin. This is also the exact same thing in Elven Forest. There's 2 different farms with a lot of boars, and people will kill these in order to obtain meat for a quest. As a Horde player, I would highly recommend you to go to Duertar. There are so many different beasts you can slay here. Tigers, scorpions, boars, yeah. And all of these are actually in many different quests, so you can easily do quests, gain experience, and then farm gold or just skin whatever other people kill. So because there are so many different things we can slay and skin, then there isn't just a few spots you can use, you could pretty much farm all over the zone. Or another option would be to go to the undead starting zone, Tristful Glades. Here you can find demons and bats that can be skinned. I know it doesn't sound like a lot when you winter a stack of light leather for 3 silver, but you will end up with a lot of these, so in the end it will add up. And then you will get to medium leather, then it's 10 silver a stack, and later on heavy leather, 30 silver a stack. Getting the arena chest in Stranglethorn Well might also be a decent way to make gold in the beginning. You can get this every 3 hours, so at 3, 6, 9 and 12 AM and PM. I know there will be competition for the chest, but then again, the rewards you can get are also amazing. Green and blue items, and even bags and potions. Here's another quick tip before I show you other ways to farm raw gold. When I'm leveling, then I always pick the most expensive item if I don't need any of the rewards. There's often a big difference on the price, and in the end it will add up if you always choose the most expensive one. At around level 20 you can go to Wetlands. At this exact location there's a spot where you can force hyperspawns. What it means is that whenever you kill an enemy, there will instantly spawn another one. So as long as you can continue to pump and kill the enemies without too much downtime where you need to regen health or mana, then this is also such an amazing spot. Not only can you gain a lot of gold every single hour, it's also a decent way to level up your character. In Duskwood, there's a quest where you need to slay these spiders, but they honestly also drop some decent items you can winter right away. But I have to be honest, if I get spider silk myself, then I will post this on the auction house. You can get so much more for it right there, as it's going to be an important material in phase 1. For those of you with skinning, it might honestly be worth it to kill the wolves instead. They have a chance to drop the fur that winters for 6 silver, but you can also get leather at the same time. One of the best zones as a horde player has to be barrens. There are so many different animals you can skin right there, including the Stormhide that drops 2 grey items that winters for a decent amount, and even hyenas where you can also get 2 grey items. What I like a lot about this zone is that early on there will be a ton of different quests where you need to start slaying animals, therefore there's usually also many dead corpses you can just skin. Hillspread Foothills also has a ton of different animals you can slay, not only at the marked areas. These are just the ones that I prefer, as there's also people questing here, so usually you can find dead enemies. What I'm mainly aiming for is to kill the bears, but the tigers is honestly not too bad either. And if you have herbalism, then remember to also pay attention to any nearby herbs, because there can spawn a lot of these at this area. At the northwestern part of Stone Talon Mountains, you will find these ooze. They have a high chance to drop many different grey items. I know they don't sell for that much, but usually you also get quite a few of these. And when you combine it together with killing the different jaguars, then you can actually get a decent amount of gold. The main reason for this is also because this is usually not a contested area, so there's next to no competition farming this. However, as an alliance, I would much rather like to swap back to Duskwood and kill these wolves. They have a chance to drop a grey item that sells for 6 silver. You can also skin these, and like it wasn't enough, you can get many different veins or well, mining materials at the area, herbs, and even find a chest. In a moment I'll show you a lot more raw gold farming spots, but first I would like to highlight a farming add-on, Kiwi Farm. This will tell you how much gold you have made in your session and what you can expect to make every single hour. All the items that I find is set to being rendered, so I don't expect to make any gold through the auction house, and therefore it's also going to be a lot more accurate. I have to be honest, it's actually quite amazing to use something like this. It makes farming a lot more fun and also a lot easier for you to track if it's a good location or if you should swap to something else. Another thing I would also highly recommend you to do is to invest into some bags. Yeah, it could be a bit pricey in the beginning, but remember, when you have more inventory space, then you don't need to spend as much time going back and forward to sell items, so you will be able to keep your session going for a lot longer, and in the end, it's going to be a good investment. In Thousand Needles, there's a great location where you don't need skinning. These has a high chance to drop a lot of copper and also silk and wool cloth. So you can level up your tailoring, your first aid, yeah, even sell the cloth right away, or post it on the auction house. As an alliance player with skinning, it will be worth it to instead swap to another zone, Wetlands. Here you can find these raptors and have such a high chance to drop many different items that you can render for a good amount, even white items as well, or you could post them on the auction house. And when you get to a higher level, then you can just go into the middle of the zone at the southern part. Here you can kill some higher level raptors, and the items they drop renders for even more. I guess this is probably my most favorite farming spot, as you can also level up mining at the same time and skin these. And to top it up even further, then they also have a decent chance to drop many different green and blue items in between level 22 to 24. So this is also about the end of the video. If you would like to see more gold making videos in the future or just different guides for classic Season of Discovery, then make sure to also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified the next time I post one. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day.